Hi, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, it's going to be extremely quick. I'm going to be covering GameStop stock starting on April 20th trading day to the next week and a half, give or take. I'm going to analyze the graph, give you the lows and highs, essentially price target predictions, but not as much as the last two videos. I'd encourage you to watch the second last video and then the last video. I'm going to link the last video right here. This video is going to already make sense on its own, but if you want like the better details, it's more highlighted in the last two videos. And quick disclaimer before I begin, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional, and everything I do share with you is just my opinion. It is not advice. So please do not buy or sell based off the information I give you or the opinions I do form. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Now, if we look at the graph, it's actually pretty awesome stuff. So close at $164.34 as of April 19th, 2021. Basically, just for a quick recap, I'm not going to do a deep dive as much as I do as the other videos, but upward trend support line here dating back since December 2020, bounced off its support, went up to the upside, bounced off support, went up to the upside, came back down. Roaring Kitty enters here, amazing entry, and then goes to the upside, massive short squeeze spike right here, relatively massive, goes to the upside, comes back down, anticipating originally we were coming back down to the December support level and then bouncing up to the upside. That dramatic. Nobody knows if it would have been that dramatic, but essentially at least start going to the upside nonetheless, right? We'll probably get capped down by the downward trend resistance line, but I'll elaborate more. But in the meantime, Roaring Kitty enters around here and I'll elaborate more. So move to the upward trend, have an upward trend support line right here, came down, bounced off as support, went up to the upside, came back down as support, bounced off it, went up to the upside, came back down, bounced off it, and then essentially because it was continuing with this downward trend resistance line going up, getting knocked down by the downward trend resistance line and just continuing that cycle up and down, I thought it was going to come back down. So essentially he entered right here, April 16th. I was like, yeah, that's a good entry point because if you're banking on this support level right here and then break through the downward trend resistance line and go to the upside. So instead, amazing timing again, and CEO resigns, all that stuff. He entered 100,000 shares here, options expired, all that stuff, and boom, it spikes. And not only does it spike, it actually did something pretty massive. Downward trend resistance line right here essentially started in the ballpark of March 12th for the most part and had touch points right here, but had two false breakouts. The question is this a false breakout? I would say there is a chance, but I wouldn't really bank on it. I would think it's more like a real breakout past pretty much all three moving averages, including the last one right here. Yes, MACD line is in the negative, so that's a bearish movement, but the thing is though, I don't think it'll drop down below that. I think if anything, it'll just consolidate on the moving average, maybe spike up before meeting the upward trend support line, but it could come back to the upward trend support line and go to the upside. Now, the plan is to get to this downward trend resistance line right here. So this one dates from the all-time high of January 27th, January 28th, and then it got knocked down on March 10th. The plan is at one point to get to this downward trend resistance line. If you do it right away, let's just say you do it the next trading day, April 20th, right? Then you would have issues passing $232 price point, give or take, plus or minus a couple dollars. So like essentially like this, get knocked down, whatever, so on and so forth, and continue the cycle. But if you break it, you could go to the upside. Now, you're going to have issues passing the $170 price point. We've seen today already, mentioned in my last video. Essentially want to pass $177 price point. Once you pass $177, you can have issues at $189 to $226. Quite a major resistance level right there, especially the 226. But there's horizontal between 189 to 226 resistance levels. Now, the thing is though, the longer it takes to get up to this downward trend resistance line, the harder it will get for you to pass it essentially. So let's just say you meet it here at 220. That's even worse because by time that would be April 22nd, let's just say, right? Yeah, give or take April 22nd. 220 would coincide with this horizontal resistance level. So even if you have a false breakout past the downward trend resistance line, you'll get knocked down by 226 anyway, head back down. So that's not what you want. You kind of want to pass it sooner, or if it gets it later, let's just say it hits 213 by April 26. So by April 26, plus or minus a couple dollars on the downward trend resistance line. Let's say you don't get knocked down by 213, you just go through it completely. You could get knocked down by 226, but if you back past 226, it's a good indication that you'll go to the next resistance level. And hopefully, breaking through this downward trend resistance line has a good spike up to the upside. The only problem is there's quite a bit of resistance in the $300 price point range at the 350. I'll elaborate more in a future video when we get there. But in the meantime, I just wanted to show that we broke through a downward trend resistance line, and that's pretty significant because given his timing, Roaring Kitty's timing, and plus breaking a downward trend resistance line, plus being above moving averages, and MACD lines trying to cross over to a positive at one point. Maybe if I go to a 3-month chart, it'll essentially be it's like, okay, so it's coming down a little bit, or is it bouncing? Okay, so it looks like it might be bouncing potentially. Yeah, okay, so no red yet. So potentially could, if anything, it could probably come back down right here or consolidate. Sorry about that. Not come back down, because MACD line for 3 months is pretty decent. So it could just be bouncing back and forth and then maybe go to the upside at one point. But again, nothing's guaranteed. I usually cover the upside and the downside. The only thing is though, this video, I don't have enough time unfortunately today, but I'm just trying to keep it short. So I cover more in the other videos that I mentioned in my last 2 videos. So that's basically it. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did like it, found it helpful, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel a lot. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And if you like this video or other stock videos or other financial videos that I do post, consider subscribing. It does help out the channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.